Good morning and welcome to the program Journalist Nest, where we x-ray happenings around our society and also the coverage of such outings and happenings by journalists. I am your host today, Esther Okuta. We're not alone. We have our regular, we have Sam Sopojite, and then we have Eunice Emeyezia. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
So there were a lot of activities in the course of the week, and journalists also have covered such activities. We have, first of all, the birthday of the governor of Delta State, the Right Honorable Sheriff Orowode Oborowori. His birthday was on the 19th, and so many encomiums have been poured on him. We have felicitations from different groups and different individuals, also portraying the fact that the governor is on the right track and his leadership mantra is top-notch. What do you have to say about the governor and his birthday and all his strides so far? Eunice, to start with you.
Well, the governor has done quite a lot, We are wishing him a happy birthday. Deltans are actually happy with him because he has been a very focused and detribalized leader. Talking about being detribalized, look at the various projects that he has, embarked upon across the 3 senatorial districts. He's not just looking at maybe one particular, he's just going from one senatorial district to another. Every local government, everyone is just, So it's a very good one. He's a detribalized leader. He ensures that the development spreads around the various communities. So I wish him a happy birthday. He has done quite well, and we are expecting more from him, actually, based on his more agenda.
Okay. So, Sams, your wishes to the governor?
Yes, his commitment to good governance and his fiscal discipline has been exemplary. And recently he won award from the Vanguard newspaper and the Arise TV news arm of these days in news media. So all these are testimony to his stride, his commitment to good governance in Delta State. I admire his those qualities in him, particularly his prompt payment of salary to civil servants. It has not been like that for the past years in Delta State. Civil servants are getting their salary 23rd, 24th. It's quite commendable. Not even the private sector can boast of that. So we commend his commitment to good governance and fiscal discipline in Delta State.
Okay, we'll say our governor, the governor Sheriff Oborowori, is a born leader because he has led as the Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly for 6 years and then also as governor 2 years running, and we are feeling his impact. We want to wish him a happy 62nd birth anniversary. We pray God guide him and God directs his path. Amen. So we'll now move on to our next story, our next report for the week. We have a report on the need to write a will. The need to write a will. And the judiciary, they are making rounds in that area and making sure that individuals know the importance of writing a will and making that will stand. So we'll now go to the report by our reporter, Antonia Moa. Happy viewing.
Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Mamuzo Erebe, said the reluctance of many Nigerians to prepare a will has remained a long-standing issue, often leading to family disputes and hardship for loved ones left behind. He urged the participants to take the training seriously, describing it as a step towards making informed and life-changing decisions.
So a will is a testamentary document. It speaks from the grave. It speaks of the intentions of the maker. So we who are alive may have our own moral justification or moral understanding of what he has done. But he did that will of his own free will. The properties belong to him. So he has a right on how he wants those properties to be administered when he's dead.
Speaking during the session, The resource persons, Professor Okumbo Wanchuku, Mrs. Lillian Wambwezi, and the Director of Probate at the Delta State Judiciary, Mrs. Joy Akinjobi, all stress the legal and social value of writing a will. They explained that a will is a voluntary legal document that allows a person to clearly state how their property, assets, or sentimental items should be shared after their deaths. The experts noted that many people still shy away from writing wills due to cultural beliefs or fear, a trend they said needed to be changed to avoid conflicts and ensure smooth property succession.
We need to be properly guided so that in as much as it is good for us to make a will, we must also be ready to ensure that our will at no time falls back to intestate succession rules.
Probate is the legal process of settling the estate of a deceased person, ensuring debts are paid and assets distributed according to the will if there is a valid will or according to the law.
The program featured a question and answer session with participants pledging to share the knowledge gained.
This training by the State Ministry of Justice is more than just a legal seminar. It is a wake-up call on the people, especially Nigerians, to imbibe the culture of writing wills to create peace and clarity for the family left behind. Antonia Mowa reporting.
Welcome back, viewers. I know you've watched that report. Now we're going to be finding out what a will is, if we truly know what a will is, and the consequences of not observing the will of a person that has passed on. Now, Eunice, what do you think about what is a will to you? Do you understand? Do you think the society really know what a will is? What do you think a will is and what it stands for?
All right, a will, I could say, is a legal document that helps to express the desire, the desire of someone. Say, okay, this is what I want after my demise. So such will becomes binding when the person is already dead. Do you understand? So that's what will is about. But a lot of persons do not know about it. Not like they do not know about it. They know, but the thing is, people have not come to understand the importance of writing a will. People say, God forbid, when it comes to issues of death and all of that, so God forbid, as you start planning for my death, people don't think about that. So they are like, oh no. But it's important that you write a will, especially for those that have properties. Not by poor man who tells you, which I get to know all right for you. But for people that have properties, they have families, it's important that you write a will, even if it's just a piece of land, even if it's just a house, just whatever it is, you can write a will, tell the people that this is what I want. Some people have children, some have just wives. This thing should be given to my wife, this thing should be given to my children, this thing should be given to my husband after my demise. And then when the person dies, there will not be issue of family dragging the inheritance and all of that. So these things can be settled amicably inside your will. So your will be expressed. But I also know that some people in writing will can be selfish. Like the recent one I saw on the internet concerning the President General of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo that died, Iwanyang. We saw one that he said part of the will was the woman will forfeit properties which was willed to her in that same will. She will forfeit those properties if she decides to remarry. So now it's like an embargo on the woman. I'm dead, you don't have to remarry. Well, the thing is, when I saw it, I said, what what would have prompted this man to go about doing things like that? They didn't have a good relationship, or what actually happened? A lot of questions actually came to my mind, and I'm like, how many people really do this? Because as we talk about the men, it also has to do with the women too. It's both sides. So you can write your will whether you're a man or a woman. So I was now wondering, what happened? Was the woman doing things that actually made him begin to lose trust? Or why would he do a thing like that? Why would he include such a thing in the will? So I thought about a lot about that. And then I said, okay, if you look at from this perspective, like the 6-9 perspective, look at it from this perspective, he might be right. Look at it, he might be wrong. So it depends on the angle that you're looking at it. And probably he might have told the woman before he died, or maybe they have discussed it. You don't know, you never can tell. So in all, will is very important. It's expressing the desire of someone. This is what I want after my demise. State clearly in your will. Hand it properly to a lawyer. I've also heard cases, though, of lawyers that compromise. Okay, I've heard such things, but I do not know how the legal how it can be tackled legally. But I've heard of it, wills being tampered with by lawyers who were entrusted with the will. So I don't know. Will is just your desire.
Does the government also have a role to play?
I think so.
To ensure that the judicial arm, they are doing their job well. Because a will also ensures that the society is running and functioning very well. Because when you have people scrambling for what a late person has left behind, it can cause chaos in the society as well. So Sam, what do you think are the consequences of not following through to the will of someone who has passed on?
Yeah, as you just hinted, it could cause some chaos in the family, and that could also even extend to the society. Because if your will is not well drafted or not well executed or not even written at all, family could be scrambling for, it's me that should get it, I'm the senior son. I'm the first wife. No, he told me this, he told me that. But if your will is written and the executor is well named and it is carried out as written, it will bring peace to the family and in extension to the society at large.
Okay, so the issue of will, the mind of having to write your will and then it means that the person is passing on very soon, it's not true. I guess we've cleared that. It's not true, because the Bible also says that you should put your house in order at all times. Your house should be in order. You might write a will maybe when you're 40, you get to 60, you acquire more properties, you can change the will, it can be updated, it can be upgraded. You get to 80, you find out that you have become a multi-billionaire. You can increase it, you want to add different groups, maybe you now decide to add charity to your will, you can add it. So a will, as Yumi said, is a legal document that is binding after the demise of a person, but it should be there. Let's look at the advantages of it, so we'll make a better society, and the will not be a selfish one. Okay, so it's a will, however, a will is a will.
That's it.
Yes, it's his will. That is his will.
Yeah.
Yes. So
come to think of it. But normally, if we are to look at it realistically, if a spouse loses his or her mate, legally and scripturally,
she's remarry.
She's bound to remarry.
Yes. Yeah. Death has put them apart.
That's it. Because the vow is still death.
To death do them part.
So if you don't want to give somebody part of the property, just state it that this person don't get it. And restricting is right, is all right.
That was why I was wondering.
That calls for more orientation from the judiciary.
Yes.
About rewriting.
Yes. We need to create more awareness.
You even know that can even cause chaos. That particular clause can cause chaos after one's death. Oh, this was your plan. If it was not even discussed before, even if it was discussed before, the family of the living spouse may rise up and think of evil against those who will take up the property. And my husband or my wife has suffered for you, and you are depriving him of this. So people should be oriented so that they can live a peaceful way, or a way that can create peace, not chaos. So that's my humble submission.
Okay, We'll now move away from Will. We'll go to straight to the visit of the Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to China. Recently, the Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads and Public Information, Mr. Charles Aniago, briefed journalists on the visit of the governor to China and other issues and happenings around the state. So we'll now take a look at that report from the briefing of Mr. Aniago to journalists. Mr. Aniago, accompanied by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Sir Festus Ahon, and the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Public Enlightenment, Sir Olise Ifejika, said the visit of the Governor to Macau and the Chinese government was on infrastructure, investment and exhibition of construction equipment. The Commissioner said the visit would spur the Governor to do more, as the invitation highlighted his giant strides in infrastructure development, adding that the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation CCECC recognized the Governor for excellence. Mr. Aniago said the Task Force on Environment had been mandated to recover all government property that are illegally occupied by individuals or organizations, referencing the Asaba International Airport as one of such government property. The enforcement was currently taking place, as well as removal of illegal structures, including prosecution of land grabbers and illegal occupants of such government property. He pleaded with contractors to ensure speed, quality, and other terms and conditions in project execution, adding that contracts not meeting up with standards and stipulated period of execution would be revoked.
We felt very, very proud that even as much as the top management of CCECC is more or less the construction arm of the Chinese government, they established it and put it to the world to be able to carry out a whole lot of infrastructure across the length and breadth of the globe. So it's not what you may call a my company. And for such a highly placed company to recognize also the efforts of our administration, it is something that we as Deltans should be proud of.
The Commissioner debunked the rumor of the neglect of a set of quintuplets and their parents by the government, adding that the wife of the Governor and founder Umata Charity Foundation, Dickiness Tobore Oborevwori, made necessary provision for the parents' livelihood. On the issue of power, the Commissioner said the government was making moves to settle the issue of power distribution in Undokwa area by settling bills and providing power infrastructure to restore power in that corridor. Present at the briefing were top management staff at the Ministry of Information, including the functioning permanent secretary in the ministry, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, and journalists across the state. Esther Oputa reporting. Infrastructure and exhibition of infrastructure equipment. The governor was also invited by the forum, the Chinese forum, for his strides in the infrastructure sector. Now they've noticed that every project is executed timely and with quality. Now the governor was invited there. He also took his time to go around China, make connections that will better Delta State. So what do you think is the implication of our governor's visits to China, Sams?
Yeah, it will bring investment into the state. These are what governors should do, even as far as the local government in China. It's not about the federal government, Tinubu, Buhari, this and that. No. Governors can also make the move, international move, to woo investors into their state. And these are what brings, those are what speed up development, not even bring the speed up development. When foreigners are in your country, they bring in foreign exchange, they facilitate foreign exchange, they bring in dollars and bring in ideas, bring in industries, establish industries that can open up employment opportunities. So it's a very laudable initiative by the governor. He should do more of this. Look outside the boards, look outside the federal allocation, and see how you can involve the outside world to open up your state and open up your economy for prosperity for all.
Okay, getting such an invitation even by the CCECC company, construction company, the China construction company, is how do you see it, Eunice, in terms of getting better projects, better infrastructure projects for the state?
Well, just like Sam's had already articulated, it's just general. Such visits only have to open up the state more, attract more partners. CEC, just one of the companies, construction companies. In Nigeria, we have Julius Berger, and Julius has been doing a lot, doing very great. So just like generally, it's a very good move. Construction companies in bringing in quality jobs into the country, bringing qualified construction companies to do quality jobs for the state is a very good one. So the visit is a good one for our states if we bring in developments and open up our place more.
Okay, I want to say kudos to the governor. We expect more from this visit. We expect that the state is getting into greater heights. Now we'll go straight to national issues. We're talking about the Benue crisis. Recently, the killings in Benue has heightened, and it's really it has become very worrisome. The president visited and gave some orders about the killings in Benue. What do you have to say about the crisis in Benue, Eunice?
Well, the crisis in Benue is a very deep one. I always say, what is happening in one place, especially when it has to do with Nigeria, if you continue to treat it with kid gloves, don't worry, it's spreading. Before now, in Delta State, in Edo State, this South region, we didn't used to see all this kidnapping and all this gunmen attack. We used to hear about all of those things. But when it was happening far there in the north, people were saying, it is happening there. It's far. And nobody cared until it began to spread this way. And now the issue of insecurity has spread across Nigeria, totally. Every state is facing their own in their different ways. Today you hear kidnapping in this place, tomorrow you hear, because the government is not firm in tackling the issue. I do not know why government can be politicizing the lives of people. You turn everything into politics. Now look at the latest one, the Yelwata community that killed, they just went to the community, decided to just raid the whole community, like raze it down totally. From the videos, you saw you see how devastating that is. You see I heard from the reports from that place that they will stand there and ensure that the people die, not just set fire and go, or just shoot and go. They will ensure that they cleared the place before they go. So imagine fathers watch their children die. Imagine mothers watch their husbands, watch their children. Imagine children, look at the trauma. Listen, the trauma is going to go for a very long time, especially with our little children who have seen this kind of killings. If you see the number of persons in the IDP camps, first of all, from the last record I heard, it was 80,000. Now, 80,000 registered internally displaced persons in Benue State. Now, what? It's not 1,000. 1,000 into 80 places. That's 80,000 human beings already displaced because of the killings. And these killings have been going on for a very long time. People have been keeping quiet. Is it so unfortunate that it was even when this this social critic, very dark man, went to that place in Benue State to go and that on-the-spot assessment where he did those videos, that people actually understood how deep the situation was. And then they began to cry. And that was when government began to... Because all the while government said, the governor of that state had been shouting, this thing is at me, help me, this is beyond me. And everyone was like, Well, what can I say? If we treat now the security officials, like according to the orders and directive of the president, security men have been deployed there, and we hear a lot of reports now. But the end of these arrangements, when I mean arrangements, this move by security agencies, the end result of this is what matters. The end justifies the means. Because if they go out with all of this might and then come back with flimsy excuse and the killings continue, what it portends is not just about Benue State. It means that the country is gone. Because this will give these ones the impunity to go from state to state and carry out whatever they want to, bearing in mind that nothing will happen. So the government should look at this issue beyond Benue State. We are talking about 36 states and the FCT. That's what we're talking about.
Thank you. Ms. Sands, what do you have to say? What do you think the government could do to curb this menace?
It's very, very pathetic. Just putting myself in the shoe, we should all put ourselves in the shoe. If government can put themselves in the shoe, imagine that one of those kids is your brother, your relative, your close friend. How will you feel? Now, a whole family was wiped out. Many families in a single night. That is genocide. And this is happening not in isolation. We have many cases like this. Remember the overall church killing? The thing is that government are only talking, giving orders, but they are not taking the proper action. If proper action are being taken, there would have been preventive measures, no reactive measures. What they're not doing is just reaction. And they're politicizing the reaction. Look at the visit. People were, it's as if it was another carnival. It's ought to be a sober reflection. You don't even need to announce it that you're going to visit people who are bereaved. A genocide scene in your country where you should have protected. The number one calling of government, according to the 1999 Constitution, Section 14, is the protection, security, and welfare of the citizens. So if you are not doing your number one job, then you are not qualified to be in government. You don't have the legitimacy of the people. You shouldn't even be clamoring for the next election when the people you think you're ruling. We use the word rulership. You are not being protected. You're clamoring for the next election. This is so pathetic. This country, we're not safe. In this country. So,
the thing is, we can't even rule out the issue of sabotage.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
That's why it's saying it still turns down to the same statement that it is being politicized.
Exactly. And then some people at the background, maybe sabotage, because it's not just about the federal government. Now, when we are looking at it in a holistic way, looking at other states, the state governments might be trying to do this and then calling on this. Then what about the people around who are supposed to execute these orders? Are there no saboteurs in the system that are causing some of these efforts to be thwarted, to be futile?
That's where intelligence gathering is necessary. Should be able to nip this at the bud. Intelligence gathering is very necessary. We still call on the security agencies to be more proactive, and we need them to be more proactive.
And now, look, if you cannot, your own house, you cannot secure it, you cannot protect it. What if there's an external force invaders? The world now is insecure. We have the Iran and Israel war, which we'll soon discuss. If imagine Israel was not securing its internal crisis, securing, how would they be able to intercept those thousands of missiles? And in Nigeria, a country with 45 army, we're able to fight terrorists, bandits. What if another country comes to invade you? What will you do?
Now, talking about the Iran war, let's go now straight to the world scene. We'll just bring you a report from the world scene where we have the issue of the Iran-Israel war and some other scenes and happenings around the globe. Just take a view.
China has developed mosquito-sized drones for covert military operations. National University of Defense Technology in central China's Hunan province revealed the tiny drone alongside humanoid machines. Reports say the mini drone features 2 small wings with leaf-like structures on either side of the stick-shaped drone, accompanied by 3 slender, hair-thin legs. Meanwhile, China has reportedly tested artillery-launched drones that can survive over forces 3,000 times their own weight during launch, as well as the crushing load in a 6-inch cannon shell. UK, French and German foreign ministers are holding talks with their Iranian counterparts in Geneva as part of efforts to ease the Israel-Iran conflict. Ahead of the meeting, UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy says a window now exists within the next 2 weeks to achieve a diplomatic solution. It comes after the White House says Donald Trump will decide in the next fortnight whether to take direct US action. The exchange of fire between Israel and Iran has continued, with the Israeli military saying it attacked dozens of targets, including what it called missile manufacturing sites in Tehran. Meanwhile, thousands of demonstrators have taken to the streets of Tehran to protest against Israel. The demonstration, which held after weekly prayers in a show of national solidarity and broadcast on state television, featured chants backing Iran's leadership in opposition to Israeli actions. Footage showed protesters in Tehran holding up photographs of commanders killed since the start of the war with Israel, while others waved the flags of Iran and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. According to state television, protests took place in other cities around the country, including in Tabriz in northwestern Iran and Shiraz in the south. Pope Leo XIV has warned of the potential consequences of artificial intelligence (AI) on the intellectual development of young people, saying it could damage their grip on reality. Since his election as head of the Catholic Church on May 8, the Pope, a mathematics graduate, has repeatedly warned of the risk associated with AI, but this is the first time he has spoken out exclusively on the subject. While welcoming the use of AI in enhancing research in healthcare and scientific discovery, the Pope said it raises troubling questions on its possible repercussions on humanity's distinctive ability to grasp and process reality. Pope Leo himself has been the target of deep-fake videos and audio messages published on social media in recent times.
As the saying goes, you might know when a war will start, but you may not know when it ends. So if there's, by all means, let the war not start. So what do you have to say, Eunice, about the Iran-Israel war and happenings within that terrain?
Just like that report. When it started, people were not, people just felt that it was just something that would start and end. They didn't know it was going to go this far. And other countries sat back and watched. It's even sad that some were supporting, forming allies behind secretly. And now it has escalated to this point. Everyone is watching, the world is watching. And then some countries are looking for, should I align with Iran or align with Israel? But may God help this country, Nigeria, bringing it back to Nigeria. We will never see war again. It's not a good thing because the devastation, the level of devastation, apart from the loss of life, the properties, the infrastructures, no.
It's going to ground zero.
Oh God.
Now, Sam, I saw a report about the mosquito drone. That's the intelligence by who are the producers? China. So what do you have to say about that kind of technology? How far technology is going right now?
It's too far. Technology has gone just too far. And that tells you how much destructions will be, how massive destructions will be during the time of war. It will be more than what happened in 1948 during the Second World War, the bomb that brought down Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This time around, if there is a Third World War, which is already at the corner, it will be very, very deadly for everyone in the world. So the United Nations, I think they should do their job. They're just backing. They're not biting yet. They're not really biting. If they're really biting, I think those who are capable of, nuclear armament should have been punished. But the United Nations is weak. That is the reason why most nations are, trying to look for trouble here and there and threaten each other with nuclear powers. It shouldn't have been. We all pray for a time when God will intervene in mankind's affairs so that there will be peace lasting. Otherwise, if we continue to hope in humankind, what they are focused on is nuclear armament. Thinking of producing nuclear weapons, powerful, like those of your mentioned. Look at China, I'm just producing a mosquito-like.
So when you see a mosquito,
you don't know that
from covert military operation.
It may not just to inspect. It may also be capable of causing, damages.
Yes.
So we pray God to just intervene in human affairs for peace.
Okay. So we'll go to the entertainment scene. We just have a quick report on entertainment. Just take a view.
$1 Million Beach House star Sarah Burak has died after being struck in a hit-and-run crash in Hampton Bays, New York. The Netflix personality, aged 40, was discovered on the side of the road. Reports say after 911 was called, officers arrived to find her unconscious, with injuries consistent with being hit by a vehicle. Burak was rushed to the hospital, but died later that day from her injuries. The deceased was previously a part of the high-end property firm Nest Seekers International, which was featured on Netflix $1 Million Beach House in 2020. Social commentator and activist Very Dark Man has criticized billionaire heir Kid Wire for requesting public donations to support victims of the recent attacks in Yelweta, Benue State. Kid Wire has shared a post on X urging Nigerians to contribute funds for the affected community, sparking widespread backlash, which prompted him to take down the post. In his response, Very Dark Man, in a video posted on X, pointed out the irony of Kid Wire's action, questioning the motives of someone known for flaunting his wealth, suddenly seeking financial assistance from ordinary citizens. The activist suggested that the reality star Kid Wire should have personally funded the support if his concern was genuine. Very Dark Man further warned NGOs against exploiting the crisis in Benue State by soliciting donations for food items, as the real problem remained insecurity. The activist proposed that he will only share his NGO's account if community leaders set up defense groups and get approval for arms from the Inspector General of Police.
Slightly serious note to end this program. Was out on Journalist Next this edition from Eunice and Sam.
Well, thank you so much for being part of our program today. Please stay peaceful, and if you see something, say something.
Thank you. Be generous next week.
Okay, it's going to be a nice outing next time like this. Do join us same time, same station for a fresh edition. Until then, it's bye from now. I am Esther Oputa. Good morning.